Hey chat, it's me, Duchess. Back with another What If I Made video. This time, it's about my all-time favorite superhero, the Creeper. Not the version seen in the new Batman adventures. I'm not a fan of how he is portrayed, just the overall character. The purpose for making this video is obvious. My boy the Creeper deserves his own show. He is a diva and an icon. One thing I'd like to say before getting into this video is that this is the type of video you play in the background when you just want to listen to someone yap while doing something else. Drawing, reading, video games, cooking, what have you. And remember, if you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Now, I'm sure most people that are watching this video might not know who the Creeper is. He is pretty obscure after all. So a quick rundown so you get the vibes of his character before I get into detail of what I do with him in a show. Jack Ryder, the titular Creeper, was the host of a political talk show. He was fired after criticizing some of his own sponsors on air and then refused to apologize. And Slay Jack, that guy was kinda stupid. He was then taken by the security officers of the news station and did detective stuff there. He was assigned to look for Dr. Yates, a scientist who was held hostage by Angel Devlin, who is working with the communists. It was the 60s, what did you expect? Jack bought leftover scraps to make his costume so he could sneak into Devlin's masquerade party, got caught, got shot, found Yates, where he was then given a serum and a molecular rearranging device that could hide his costume. Yates died, Jack beat up Devlin and his gang, the end. Well, for the showcase issue anyway. He would later have a 6-issue line in 1969 and the occasional appears and comic lines afterwards. I've actually started collecting many of these appearances and will do my best to collect the rest. The jury's still out on if I'll collect anything past the 90s. He may not have appeared often, but hey, according to Wikipedia, he was part of the Batman family, so that's a win for the 20 Creeper fans. As briefly mentioned, the Creeper did appear in the new Batman adventures, Caped Crusader. As of writing, only has Jack Ryder briefly, and also Batman, the Brave and the Bold, though only for a cold open sadly. I really don't like how he was characterized in TNBA. Just because he's the Creeper doesn't mean he has to be a creep. Personally, I think the Creeper and a Harley Quinn who has gotten away from the Joker would be good friends, but I'd leave them at that. So that's his origin, pretty basic rundown. It has changed over the years to being either some form DID. Then at one point there was that Oni thing? Like, ain't that Jason Blood and Etrigan? Boy, let me tell you, if I had a nickel for every time one of my fictional characters started out pretending to be crazy or something and later iterations gave them a split personality, I would have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird it's happened twice. Obviously, it'd be a 2D animated show. In my opinion, the only person that could do a good live-action Creeper is Jim Carrey, but you know, I think 2D would be able to better express the Creeper. One little interesting tidbit of information is that most modern adaptations have the Creeper in Gotham, though in the original comics it never actually said where he was. But I'm fine with this, it means he can cross over with Batman more frequently. Okay, so drum roll please, my revised the Creeper lore if I were to make my own show. So, in Gotham, Jack was fired from his talk show on Wham TV for kind of publicly humiliating a friend of the station's main investor. Jack was one of the most popular talk hosts, and he did political and hot topics. He was also a supporter of Batman and other costumed vigilantes. The station didn't want Jack to go too far, so no one else would sweep him up, so they arranged for him to work with the network security. Got the costume, and went to the party. I don't remember if there was a specific date, but I'll have it be a Halloween masquerade party. I guess Yates is evil now, he pretended to be good. I actually kind of got this from one of the later iterations of the Creeper, and I kinda liked it, so I stole it. I'm also taking plot points from another version where Devlin and his gang drugged and abused him once they caught him. As seen in his post-crisis revisions. They assumed Jack was a lackey of some other gang, so wanted to make an example of him. But they didn't give him just any drugs, no. Joker Venom. I can totally see Joker Venom being a drug that took the streets by storm, as it can provide euphoria and highs like no other drug. Of course, overdoses of this stuff is commonplace. For Jack, he only really got enough to cause the laughing fits and minor psychosis. I want to call back to the original comics by having most of the perceived craziness of the Creeper to be acting on Jack's part. No Oni stuff, it's boring and lame. Just a broken mind when the Creeper due to some abuse given by Devlin. Yachts and whoever he was working with wanted to make a super soldier. The whole thing was set up and basically Yachts would build a mentor/ally relationship with him, so he would be willing to listen to whatever he told later. Using Jack for this was just an opportunistic thing. Devlin figured it was Yachts who gave Jack the serum and had Yachts killed. But don't worry, he lived. Jack doesn't remember most of what he does as the Creeper, but can recall some important information he may need, and if he feels like he won't remember when he turns back, it writes it down, badly. I like to imagine as the Creeper he has rather poor penmanship. Something else I think would be neat is if Jack refers to himself and the Creeper as the same while the Creeper talks about Jack as someone else. Considering that the Creeper has Jack's memories, but Jack normally doesn't have all of the Creeper's memories, makes that kinda interesting, right? The memory loss is mostly due to the sudden switch that occurs from the heavily drugged state of the Creeper to the normal mindset of Jack. He will often be disoriented, and the switch may be a huge cause for the amnesia, like recovering from being blackout drunk. The yellow makeup, green wig, fake teeth, and red cape are now permanently attached to the Creeper, replacing natural skin and hair. I quite like my version. It marries together a lot of the various Creeper origins while still keeping most of the spirit of the original. His powers are fairly basic. Swap between Jack and the Creeper at will, damaging laugh, enhanced strength, stamina, durability, speed, agility, reflexes, healing, and senses. Oh, he is also effectively immortal. In the Flash 318, he gets shot dead, but he doesn't die. And more notably in Eclipso 13, he gets mauled to death and eaten by hyenas, yet somehow comes back. Also, this artist did my boy dirty. I think the only thing that might be able to kill the Creeper is age. More on the laugh, I think to the untrained ear it can be easily confused for the Joker, but anyone who has seen the effects of Joker venom can tell the difference. It's like smelling death. Once you know what it smells like, you'll always be able to recognize it. It's hollow and forced when compared to the Joker. Same with a smile. But even the Creeper's laugh has slight differences when compared to someone suffering from Joker venom overdose. It lacks some of the pain and breathlessness. Eagle-eyed viewers can see that my Creeper has changed yet again. Don't worry, this oughta be my last redesign. I was heavily inspired by both hyenas and werewolves, which is kinda ironic since his cape is canonically a sheepskin skin rug, so I guess it's got some wolf in sheep's clothing going on. Are werewolfos a thing? If so, I would love to suggest the Creeper for this. Please make it happen, fanfiction writers. Visually, the Creeper looks mostly the same as usual. Texture-wise, I'd imagine his hair feels fake, like a wig, but when you try to pull it off, it is obvious that yeah, this stuff's attached to his skull. As can be seen from the drawing, I made his hair shaped like horns. The cape also feels attached to his back when trying to pull it, like it's an actual mane or hair growth. It's soft and plush. Unusually warm too, and springy. I also visually based Jack off of this specific human box design. Another note is that Jack appears to wear a pink suit. At least that's what it looks like in his original line. It's not red either. Those are definitely pink suits. So, slay Jack. The personality differences between the two could also be an interesting contrast. With Jack being no-nonsense, strong morals and beliefs, intelligent, investigative, untrusting, stubborn, hard-headed, good actor. Very good actor can't be a TV host without being a good actor. I'd imagine there is also a difference between Jack on air and off air. Probably tells more jokes and such when on camera. Maybe some of the other show hosts, like Vera, have a habit of trying to catch Jack off guard with the camera, like if there was something going on around the station or if they run into him on the street just to watch him squirm as he tries to quickly put on his TV mask. And finally, Jack is neutral good. Jack is definitely neutral good, maybe even a tad bit chaotic good, only slightly. Now the Creeper doesn't take anything seriously, genuinely insane. Basically the mask, you know, that old movie, still smart, euphoric, looser morals, high as a kite I swear to you, extremely chaotic, laughing outbursts. He can't do much about it. Hates being compared to the Joker. It's one of the few things that can wipe his smile off his face, and somewhere between chaotic good and chaotic neutral. Depends on if he's having a good or bad day. Now to call back to what I said about it being a Halloween masquerade party. Jack and the Creeper now really don't like Halloween. As time goes on, the Creeper's mind gets more unstable and has its good days and its bad days. Halloween is a very bad day. During these episodes, the Creeper can go from his theatric Shakespearean self to barely verbal beast of laughter. You really don't want to be a criminal caught by the Creeper when he's having one of his bad days. Yes, I did sort of steal this from a fanfiction I read on AO3. The differences in personality not only is good between Jack and the Creeper, but could also work against, oh, I don't know, Batman? Not to say Batman should show up like often. It wouldn't really be a Beware the Creeper show if he did. But let's say he showed up maybe once, or maybe Bruce Wayne be a background character as a fun little Easter egg. But think about it. They'd kinda be opposites. With Batman being serious and using fear while the Creeper plays the insane card to get what he wants out of people. And then there's the airhead, billionaire, playboy Bruce Wayne persona, while Jack is a more serious investigative detective type. They make for good foils. Shame they don't work together more often. So, how would the show play out? There would need to be a lot of internal monologue. Since the Creeper doesn't have an Alfred or a Robin to bounce stuff off of, so he'd need to be talking to himself so the audience would know what his thought process is. The story could explore a deteriorating mental state, maybe the experience of the Creeper that sort of activated some latent mental illness inherited from his mother. And as the episodes go on, we see a bigger difference in personality between Jack and the Creeper. It'd probably mostly be centered around the original comic line, as that may or may not be the only Creeper comics I own. I need more Creeper comics, I know, but I wanted to get the originals first since that's my favorite version. With the modern 6 to 8 episodes that cartoons usually get, it would fit to only do the original line. If we go for 8 episodes, we could comfortably fit the original line and give it time to breathe. 6 episodes for the 1969 line plus 2 for the showcase, or, alternately, use 2 episodes for the finale. If going the 2 episodes for showcase route, the first episode could end on the cliffhanger of being drugged and such and meeting Yats. All I know is that the last episode of Season 1 would need to be the climax at the end of the Proteus arc. Season 2 could have more of the deteriorating mental state, as Jack would rely more on becoming the Creeper to avoid his emotions and as an escape from reality. Maybe this could have Batman, maybe to reference the episode from the new Batman Adventures. He could make some medication for Jack that stabilizes the Creeper's mind. Now for rogues, everyone knows that a hero is only as good as their rogue gallery. It's the reason Batman and Spider-Man are some of the most popular heroes. They got the best costumed creeps. Who's the Creeper got? A chameleon knockoff. Okay, that was a little mean to Proteus considering he's the best the Creepers got in the rogue department. The rest are lackluster to say the least. Most of the characters listed on the Comic Vine website under his enemies aren't even his own original enemies. And the ones who are his are like? Why? Who is Mr. Wrinkles? Might have to make a separate video talking about pre-existing rogues and even new ones. It'd make for a good thought exercise. Don't want to make this video too long. The list of recurring side characters is rather short. There's Chief of Network Security Bill Brain, Vera Sweet, and Remington Ripcord. Bill Brain is the guy who hired Jack to do the investigative stuff for the network. To expand on Vera and Jack's dynamic, maybe they were the 2 most popular hosts, with Jack just barely beating Vera in the rating department and Jack getting the prime time airing. But once Jack got fired, Vera took his time slot. That's about all I've got for now. I hope you enjoyed this, and that I converted someone else into a Creeper fan. And if any of you write, you should totally write me some more Jack Ryder / the Creeper fanfiction. By the way, DC, since you guys aren't really using the Creeper, I'm more than willing to take him off your hands. You know? I've got a crisp $20 bill that can have you guys' name on it. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Remember, if you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. I think PTSD and other mental disorders, such as bipolar, DID, obsessive need for order, should all be portrayed in the show. I have the Mind Electric Creeper animatic that will have some of these ideas. The bipolar and obsessive need for order are canonical things Jack inherited from his mother, while the PTSD comes from what Angel Devlin did. Though the DID / split personality causes a bit of a problem as it stems from childhood trauma. Even if some cases aren't diagnosed until adulthood. Then again, the Creeper is a special case, with most depictions of the split personality being to drugs and mindset being imprinted on whenever the molecular rearranger is activated. It's a subject that needs to be handled with care. Now for rogues, everyone knows that a hero is only as good as their rogue gallery. It's the reason Batman and Spider-Man are some of the most popular heroes. They got the best costumed creeps. Who's the Creeper got? A chameleon knockoff. Okay, that was a little mean to Proteus considering he's the best the Creepers got in the rogue department. The rest are lackluster to say the least. Most of the characters listed on the Comic Vine website under his enemies aren't even his own original enemies. And the ones who are his are like? Why? Who is Mr. Wrinkles? Might have to make a separate video talking about pre-existing rogues and even new ones. It'd make for a good thought exercise. Don't want to make this video too long. The list of recurring side characters is rather short. There's Chief of Network Security Bill Brain, Vera Sweet, and Remington Ripcord. Bill Brain is the guy who hired Jack to do the investigative stuff for the network. To expand on Vera and Jack's dynamic, maybe they were the two most popular hosts, with Jack just barely beating Vera in the rating department and Jack getting the prime time airing. But once Jack got fired, Vera took his time slot. That's about all I've got for now. I hope you enjoyed this, and that I converted someone else into a Creeper fan. And if any of you write, you should totally write me some more Jack Ryder/the Creeper fanfiction. By the way, DC, since you guys aren't really using the Creeper, I'm more than willing to take him off your hands. You know? I've got a crisp $20 bill that can have you guys' name on it. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Remember, if you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe.